Hello, hello, everybody. This is Alan Devlin with Atlanta News First. Excuse me for adjusting the mic there. Wanted to come back on here. I was just kind of on here talking to you guys a little bit about something that's happening in downtown Atlanta right now. We showed you some live pictures up front of where a group of protesters were headed. Protesters that were right now protesting the building of that Atlanta Public Safety Training Facility in DeKalb County, also known as what they call it is Cop City. We've got some new live images coming out of downtown Atlanta. I want to let you guys take a look at here. This is the scene right now in downtown Atlanta. This is a live look from one of our cameras out there on the scene. And as you can see, it remains very active at this time. I want to see if we can get some audio on here really quick. Give me 2 seconds while you guys take a look at this. All right, guys. So like I was saying, right now, this is the scene of these protesters that were or have been marching from the MLK Center. Now they are in front of what I believe is the police headquarters down there in downtown Atlanta. You can see they're coming face to face right now with APD, who's lining the front of that building. This was the building that was destroyed several weeks ago, or at least the front windows of this building was destroyed several weeks ago, back when this another protest happened in downtown Atlanta, and the same group, or at least the same a group with the same beliefs that this center should not be built, that the public safety training facility is a nuisance. This is their words. Were out there again. They were throwing fire bombs. They set a cop car on fire. They smashed the windows of this building in. And I'm going to continue to try and work to see if we can get some audio from this look right here. Give me about 1 second here. Hey, TJ, do you know how to pull up audio on the rim so they can hear the protest? Are you?
We need to call them to let them.
All right, guys, I'm back. I apologize. We are working on getting audio right now. This is a breaking news situation, so this kind of stuff evolves with time, and I'm also learning new details as you guys are learning new details, as our assignment desk is getting more information, and I'm continuing to just kind of pass along what I know as soon as I get it. We've got a whole team that's working to get this information. Atlanta News First Patrick Quinn is out there right now. He's on scene, and so what we are doing is trying to get his audio to you guys so you guys can listen along. Give me 1 second. I will be right back in about 20 seconds. Don't go anywhere. We're going to keep the images up. We're going to work on the audio. So I've just been informed, actually, guys, by our assignment desk here that the language out there right now is not the best. And I am not going to give you guys that audio. We don't know exactly everybody that is watching right now. I know a lot of you guys are, of course, would be fine with hearing this real-time audio. But we do understand that some of the viewers out there are not going to want to listen or hear the type of language that's being used, a lot of derogatory and explicit language right now. So in place of that, you're going to get to listen to me explaining what's happening as it is out there. It is very loud, and there are 100+ protesters out there right now. You can see several of them right here. This is a live look from our camera. Patrick Quinn is out there right now working on covering this story. He's been out there all day. This was a planned protest that was supposed to happen, and we were not aware they would be marching through downtown. That was a decision that was made by them, and they made that move, and they are on the move, as you can see, coming face to face right now with this police line outside of a building, a group with similar beliefs already threw rocks into fire bombs at several weeks ago. This is a very, very contentious and I'm sure tension-ridden time right now for these protesters and these police. There is shouting, there is screaming, there is passion, and there is anger out there. A lot of emotion as well as our photographer continues to zoom around. And you can see the sign right there, No Cop City. That's what this all kind of centers on, and it's been going on for weeks and weeks. The Atlanta Police Department is working on building a massive public safety training facility in DeKalb County because the city of Atlanta does not have their own. Whenever the Atlanta Police Department wants to train officers officers in any capacity, they have to use another city's facility. This is in place in order to learn. This is in place in order to help teach the officers how to learn better, how to become better officers, which the city says will allow them to be better officers and keep the public safe. It's going up right now. Construction has started after years of back and forth. Our former Atlanta Police Chief, Rodney Bryant, is actually the one that first signed off and got the ground running on this project. And right now, we've got Shearbaum and Andre Dickens, the mayor and the current police chief, who are spearheading this new improvement on this facility. But since then, a lot of people who are arguing against this facility are getting upset that it's going up. And there's a couple of reasons for that. You've got people who are exclaiming that it is an environmentalist nightmare and it's destroying large portions of the forest. And you know, we are the city in the forest, so they are upset that this is going to be destroying so many trees. And what they say is impacting the environment in that area. The city has responded, and they've said that for every tree they destroy, they will plant many more. So they're going to counteract the destroying of the forest with building new forest in that area. They say they're leaving space for parks and green spaces, and they've had environmentalists check through to ensure that it is not negatively impacting the nearby creeks or the nearby environments in that area. The people who are against the facility have also said this will just engage in more militarized police forces here in Atlanta, and the city has countered that as well. And they've said, look, this is in order to make sure our officers are better trained, to provide them with the training they need so that everyone is happy and they are able to respond to what is a massive metropolitan area here in Atlanta with the best training possible. This state-of-the-art facility is supposed to do that, according to the city, according to the police department. But as you can see, by these hundreds of protesters out here right now, not everybody believes that. Just yesterday, I believe, there was another protest outside the DeKalb County Jail. Brett, that was the DeKalb County Jail, right? DeKalb County Jail, yeah, and I'm talking to people in my newsroom to ensure that I'm giving you guys the right facts. Outside the DeKalb County Jail just yesterday, where a smaller group of protesters showed up, projected words up on the jail, the side of the jail outside, as well as had posters, signs, megaphones, and were once again berating the police at that area, speaking to the inmates. At one point, they were shouting, you know, free the inmates, that kind of thing, wrongful detainment. This is all out of the words of those protesters. The police were out there. They responded. There was no violence. There was no issues. It was peaceful, as is this. There is nothing that is unlawful at this time in this protest. It is simply people expressing their rights that are protected in our Constitution, which is free speech, and the police ensuring that that stays how it is. Andre Dickens, our mayor, and police chief Darren Shearbaum have made it very clear there is absolutely nothing wrong with protesting or voicing your concerns or your opinions in the city of Atlanta. That is not what this is about at all. They are there to ensure this line of police officers you're looking at right now, and boy, are there a lot of them. This line is there to ensure this stays peaceful and safe. And you can see, you just saw our Patrick Quinn was the gentleman who was walking in front of that camera. He's guiding his photographer around right now. It looks like some of the protesters are getting into it with some of the police officers, it seems here, not physically, but verbally, going back and forth. And again, we're not sharing that audio with you at this time because of the nature of some of the language out there and what is being said, and how it is not something that we at Atlanta News First want to carry towards online for you guys to hear at home. We can give you the facts, and we're going to break it down from that. We're not going to go beyond what many would deem as inappropriate. But I can relate to you what I am hearing, which is a whole lot of chanting, a whole lot of cheering, shouting, screaming. It is a passionate and riled up area right out there right now. Again, this is in downtown Atlanta. If you're just now joining us, I'm going to reiterate for you really quick. This is a protest in Atlanta, downtown Atlanta, over that public safety training facility that's going up in DeKalb County. And we've got about 100 plus protesters out there right now marching through and into downtown Atlanta, coming face to face with that long, long line of APD officers out there. And you can see them right here in this live video, what appears to be guarding this building that was a target many times before by this same group of protesters who, again, do not want that facility to go up in DeKalb County. Now I'm going to take a quick 30-second break here, and I will be back in about 30 seconds to speak to you guys some more and relay to you live what's happening as it's happening. In the meantime, I'm going to leave these images up for you guys right here, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, I have rejoined you here, and what I've got right now is a little bit of audio coming up from this protest. I want to warn you, this is a live protest. Some of the language you might hear, some of the audio you might hear might not be hyper appropriate, but thankfully, this is a situation that we can control, a little bit of what's coming through the camera, a little bit of what you're hearing through your speakers, but I want you to be able to live this moment with us as we continue to cover this, and we're bringing you this live right here from the First Alert Desk. Let's take a look and a listen in now that you guys have a little bit more insight to what's happening. I don't want to talk too much. I want you guys to be able to get a sense of what is being said and what is being heard out there live, and I want you to walk with me as we kind of experience this together. This is not an instance that was anything we can predict what's going to happen next or anything like that. It is a situation that is live and breaking as it happens.
On the question of terrorism, the Oxford definition is someone who commits or threatens violence to further individual goals. This is too broad to use utterly useless definitions include Devlin and Malcolm X, Anthony, Stephen MLK, and JFK. Question number one: do you consider Nelson, Martin, Malcolm, Jack, and to be terrorists? No. No. Do people occupying a previously unoccupied corner of a forest sound like terrorists to you? No! A more useful and modern definition would be an individual or group that engages in the purposeful and knowing murder of civilians and non-combatants.
Yeah! That's you!
Looking to secure peace and freedom in their communities sound like terrorists to you?
No!
fighting bravely in the war on injustice. Sound like a criminal organization to you? No! Sound like a terrorist organization to you? No! Well, how about an organization of heavily armed street soldiers known not only for internal gang activity, but for corruption? An organization that derives its power from physical violent force. An organization that thinks itself above the law. An organization with a strict no-snitching policy. Does this sound like a criminal organization?
And you can hear the megaphone right now going off there in the background as they continue to cheer and jeer, I should say, actually, as the Atlanta Police Department kind of guards this building here right now. This is something that just kind of evolved here in the last hour or so. I brought you a little bit of a look at where they were marching to at the top of the hour at 8 o'clock. We're now rolling on 47 minutes later. They have reached that spot, and they've been there for about 20 minutes. If you're just now joining us, we've got a group of protesters out there right now. We know it's well over 100. We don't have those exact numbers, but this is the situation breaking down in downtown Atlanta, and it is a situation that we are continuing to follow here at Atlanta News First.
And I'll be on IG.
And I want you to be able to continue to hear these protesters out there. I just cut the audio on for you guys. You guys should have an idea of exactly what's being said out there, and I apologize if any of that language happens to be in any way, inappropriate or vulgar. These are raw emotions. This is raw live video, and this is kind of how it happens as it happens. And we're going to continue to bring you updates and coverage in whatever capacity we can. I do believe we might have a second camera out there now. It looks like we do from a different angle here. That's a second camera, Gary? All right, so we have a second camera out there right now that's getting set up on the scene to be able to provide you guys some more feedback and some more visuals of exactly what's happening. I'll show you right now. As you can see, it's on the ground here, but this is another live angle of this protest from the backside, it looks like, where we've got people out there on the other side of that street in front of that building, which was, again, a target of the violence and the anger that came weeks ago when a similar group of protesters who were out there angry at the building of this public safety training facility were showing their disapproval and damaging the front windows of that building. You see behind this officer here, and this is again live video, they still got the boards up from when those windows were smashed late last year. And here we are in March, and this is a continued controversy that's been going on for, I'll be honest, years, ever since this design was first even brought in, since it was first proposed, and now we are continuing to deal with what has been a back and forth on this Atlanta Public Safety Training Facility. I'm gonna let you guys listen in live really quick. You can hear this is the megaphone of one of those protesters speaking to the others right now. Again, the language might not be the most appropriate, but this is happening right now in downtown Atlanta. You guys can get this live look.
But against the entire multiracial working class. Black street soldier. Do you really want to know where the term "big blue line" comes from? Should we tell them? Well, it appears the people is broken yet again. Brother officer, black street soldiers of the Atlanta Police Department and all police departments. The first American police force to begin adopting this brainwashing propagandistic rhetoric about a so-called thin blue line was the early New York Police Department. The bought and sold by the corrupted racist Italian mafia for decades, New York Police Department. The descendants from slave catchers who hunted Frederick Douglass like a dog, New York Police Department. The lying, spying, wiretapping, currently being sued for the assassination of Malcolm X, New York Police Department. Stop and frisk Central Park joggers.
And so once again, as we kind of break this down for you guys right now, this is happening in downtown Atlanta. You can see from this video to the side of me exactly what's happening. These are live cameras. Our Atlanta News First reporter Patrick Quinn is out there as we report this from the First Alert desk. I'm back here in the newsroom right now, and we've got an entire team working to continue to cover this and bring you guys updates, the latest, whatever that may be, as we continue to move forward and head into what will soon be television coverage of this event, beginning at 9 o'clock over on Peachtree TV with Rick Folbaum and Sean Gables. That will be coming in. I'm going to turn this down just a little bit, guys, so you can hear me better. There we go. You might be able to hear me a little bit better now. If you're joining us on Facebook, and I know some of you guys are, feel free to drop a comment, chat with me in whatever capacity, and I'll be able to go back and forth, maybe answer some of your questions in whatever capacity that may be, and we will kind of work through this one together, because this is one of those instances that we cannot predict the future here, and we can't. Let me see. Okay, list. It says you can't hear me. Are we good on audio? Can you guys hear me at the web desk here? I want to make sure they can hear me out here. They say they're unable to hear me.
You guys need a job.
Can you guys hear me? Audio check, 1, 2, 3. We're making sure you guys can hear me at home. One of you guys said you aren't able to hear me. I want to make sure it's on our end. Make sure it's not on our end, I should say. Audio's good? Audio's good on Facebook? Okay, yeah, all right. So maybe check your computer, check your camera, check your microphone, whatever capacity. We've got audio on this end, and so we can hear you. Well, you can hear me, and hopefully everything's good. But I'll kind of keep going here, and I'm reading some of your comments as you guys chat and talk, and feel free to ask questions or throw out whatever you're feeling. So Gina, I see you asked about what the protest is about. These people are protesting that public safety training facility we've been telling you about that's going up in DeKalb County. The city says it will help better train officers, better prepare them to tackle the crime and the violence that comes with any metropolitan city as big as Atlanta is. This group out here does not want it to be built. They believe that it will negatively militarize officers, and it will destroy the environment in that area. So that is why they are out there right now. They were originally out in front of the MLK Center, and they have now marched down into downtown Atlanta, where they are continuing to express their displeasure, coming face to face with a line of APD officers out there right now. These are our live cameras that you're looking at over here, showing you what is happening as it's happening. And again, I apologize if there is any foul language or anything of that nature. This is live. This is what is happening out there right now. And so I'm going to continue to read some of your other comments and anything else anybody has to say. All right, Jackie, thank you. I'm glad you guys can hear us. It's a breaking news situation, so I'm moving very quickly, very fast, trying to make sure I get the audio squared away. It was an issue we didn't even have audio to start with. So I'm glad you guys can hear us right now, Jackie. Thank you for letting me know. And Sarah, I hope you were in here when I just kind of explained what was happening there a little bit. And Yana, I see you talked about the protest being a little too loud. I'm going to turn it down just a little bit there, so hopefully you guys can hear me a little bit better, because that protest is loud. It is loud, and it is happening. But like I was saying, Sarah, if you didn't hear me, this group is out there protesting that Atlanta Public Safety Training Facility, the one that's going up in DeKalb County, the one that they just started construction on. If you've been paying attention to the news cycle the past couple of weeks, you have heard about this. It is a lot of controversy, and it is going back in force. And Tammy, you've actually got a little bit of both going on. You've got some people that are against what they say will be a militarization of the police. You've got some people that are concerned about the environment and about the trees that are being cut down to build this facility. And you've got some people that are both, where they claim to be worried about the militarization, and they're also worried about the trees. So it is a back and forth, and there's no true, clear answer for any of this. It is on a spectrum, and that is what we are dealing with right now. And I'm going to continue to kind of build this around and make sure we get this stuff squared away as best as I can from the technological side, because I'm also pushing all the buttons here, and I'm making sure everything's working here, audio, visual, what we're looking at. I want to put up the protest full screen right now, actually, and give you guys a look here really quick. Actually, let me make sure I'm doing this right. Give me 1 second, guys. I want to make sure I've got this squared away, and I'm going to put that there, and we're going to run with this. Okay, so now we've got a little bit of a look at the two cameras we've got happening here. One is stable in the background, showing you the wide angle of that protest. That's what you see behind our 2 box right here. The second camera on the side of me is that protest. I'm going to take that full very briefly and let you guys get a live look at this as it's happening. We are right now preparing to go live on TV, on Peachtree TV. Rick Folbaum, Sean Gables are literally walking into the studio right now, where we're going to be talking about this at the top of the show, I would believe, Sean. Okay, so yeah, Sean Gables, Rick Folbaum getting ready to give you guys live coverage on Peachtree TV right now. WANF, they're walking into the studio. They will be able to provide you more insight. We'll probably be talking to Patrick as well. I'm sure he's getting ready. We'll be seeing that here. We'll be covering that live as it happens. We will show you what Patrick's report looks like when it happens, and we will move forward from there. And if you want to turn into Peachtree TV, you can, and you can take a look at it on TV right now. Hey, Jackie, I just saw your question you just asked. They were originally at the MLK Center, and they marched over the course of about 45 minutes to an hour from the MLK Center to the Atlanta Police Foundation. That's where they are right now. This is the building that was a target of an attack late last year by a group with the similar beliefs as far as the Atlanta Police Training Facility goes. That is what we are dealing with right now. So that's where they are. That's where we find them, and that is where Patrick Quinn is getting ready to go live from in just short little bit here. And we will continue to provide live coverage of this as it happens. I see a couple of you guys are still asking questions here on Facebook. I'm going to try and answer whatever I can as you guys kind of come through. And I apologize, I am reading. And Jackie, thank you for your question. Thank you for your input. From all of you guys who are throwing questions. If I can answer it, I'm going to do my best to. That's kind of the goal here. And this is something that we're working on. We're watching happen live as you guys are watching. I am getting information the second I get it from the assignment desk and our producers and our web team who's working to learn more. When I get it, I'm telling you guys directly through. It's like a game of telephone here as far as this information as it comes in. Now I'm going to put this up full screen real quick. You guys can get a look and listen in. I'm going to turn the protest audio back up. You guys can listen in. I'll be right back in a short little bit, but I do want to allow you guys to hear this live.
Okay, next I want to be real clear about what Cop City is. Because I'm sure people are supposed to know that it's supposed to be live disinformation. I'm going to get real clear about it. Cop City is the Atlanta Police's plan to tear down 400 acres of forest on the south side in the middle of a black community to build a military training facility that is going to cost our city $85 billion. At all. The Black Coalition demands of Atlanta, first and foremost, that there be no Cop City, not in the forest, not in a black neighborhood, not anywhere in Atlanta, not anywhere in Georgia, not anywhere near us, not anywhere far from us. There is no Cop City. The second demand is that $85 million be given to the community for the community to decide what to do with. For the community to choose for ourselves how we spend that money, whether we choose education for children, housing for our families.
I feel like it's
What's that one? Look out!
So you can hear that megaphone is very modulated at this time. You can barely make out what exactly this person on the megaphone is saying because it's far away from our camera and it's loud, but you can get the gist of it. You can understand the resentment here from this group that's out there right now in front of the Atlanta Police Foundation building. This is something that's continuing to move forward, and as we roll into the second hour of these protests, 9 o'clock has just struck. I'm sure Patrick Quinn's going to be getting ready to roll as far as a live look goes as soon as it is available once we get rolling on Peachtree TV. So we are waiting, we are watching, we are listening, and we are informing you, which is most important. And anybody that's joining us on YouTube, hey guys, I'm rolling over on YouTube and I'm looking at some of the questions and answers you might have. And I will be sure to do my best to answer all of these questions. I see a lot of you guys are coming through right now. Speaking a little bit. All right, so some of you guys are asking, what's going on here? Why are they protesting? If you're just now joining us, if you've been with us, I'll give you a little bit of feedback in a little bit. But if you're just joining, I'll walk you through it from front to back very quickly. This group out here is protesting the Atlanta Public Safety Training Facility that's being built in DeKalb County. This facility is being built because Atlanta does not have one. And whenever APD wants to use a facility, they have to go to a neighboring city or a neighboring county to better train their officers on a large scale. Our former police chief, Rodney Bryant, built this thing, or at least he put the proposal into place and got it approved. And it was construction just began late last year, early this year, and this group doesn't want it to happen. They don't want it to happen from their own words, for a couple of reasons. They're saying that it is going to destroy the environment, and they're also saying that it will overly militarize in a negative format the police here in Atlanta and result in less public safety, not more. That is what they are protesting, and they were at the MLK Center earlier. They have now marched to the Atlanta Police Foundation building, and that's where they are right now. This building was a target a couple of weeks ago when another group with similar beliefs did the same thing, and so here we are now. So, Jackie, we're not sure. We do not know if these protesters are from Atlanta, if they are from elsewhere. I'm sure it's a mix. I'm sure you've got protesters that are from right here in Atlanta, and I'm sure you've got protesters that are from out of the city or out of the state. That's a common trend we've been seeing with this event, where we've got protesters who are coming from out of state to voice their concern and voice what they believe is, of course, appropriate language involving this police training facility. So it's probably a little bit of both. We don't have the exact makeup, but what we have seen in the past is that a lot of these instances, a lot of the people that are getting arrested are not from Atlanta. That has been a growing trend that we've seen. It is out of state or at least out of city protesters coming into Atlanta to protest, and in some unfortunate instances result to violence. And then some of you guys are asking about the police presence out there right now. They are out there, and there are police officers who are in front of the Atlanta Police Foundation building who are guarding it from these protesters, because the last time something like this happened outside of that building, if you look, you'll see that it is still boarded up. Those windows were smashed in by rocks, and police cars were set on fire at that site. And so they don't want that to happen again. They have responded early. I'm going to turn the protest back up and let you guys listen for a little bit more. Again, that megaphone is overmodulated, but you will be able to hear if there is any inappropriate language. I apologize ahead of time, but this is live.
Right? Had to have half the city's mental health clinics closed down, but a few years later we have $95 million for funding hospitality.
That is right.
Police keep us safe? Right. So, on top of that, the Chicago Police Department was already getting 40% of the city's budget. That is, and when you break the numbers down, that was about $4 million a day. Imagine what we could do with $4 million fucking dollars a day. Pray for that.
Housing for all.
So, that's, when you calculate the math, that's $1.4 billion a year. Imagine what we could do with $1.4 billion a year. And a lot of you guys were talking about the mayor of Atlanta, right? Andre, we gotta get him out of here, right? We got all these mayors, right, that are black and brown and serve black and brown cities that don't do shit in the interest of black and brown people. The same thing was happening in Chicago. Mayor Lori Lightfoot, let's talk about it. Black queer woman, first black queer woman mayor of Chicago. Black youth told her that we did not want a $95 million copper caddy, that they did not make us feel safe, that we wanted money for schools, that we wanted money for housing, that we wanted money for health care. And what did she do? She laughed in our face. And what did she do? Not get reelected. So I need y'all to Mayor Lori Lightfoot, the first black and queer mayor of Chicago, the first mayor in over 40-something years to lose a reelection.
You're next, Andre.
We need to do the same thing here in Atlanta, because like we're saying, this fight is not new. I was 16 fighting against Bell Cop Academy in 2017. It's 2023. It's 5 years later and the same shit is happening across the United States. Say that ain't right. Say that ain't right. Say that ain't right. So I say all this to say solidarity is what's important. Because this is not just happening in Atlanta. It's not just happening in Chicago. It's not just happening on the West Coast. It's not just happening over here. It's happening all across the world. Say that ain't right. That ain't right. And the militarization of the police, how much y'all think these damn batons and shields they got cost? How many good people national batons to fund? Right? How many, think about all the gear, all the riot gear they have on, all the militarization that we see right now in front of our face. Imagine how many businesses that could fund. Right?
How many meals?
Right?
How many houses?
Right? So, all I'm saying is, I love y'all so much. Thank y'all for having us here. Like I said, I think it's really important to talk about like the people that came before us and the people that came after us. Like I said, No Cop Academy was in 2017, right? After that, defund is becoming a big thing, right? You have all these defund police departments who've been going on across the nation, right? We have Stop Cop City. Solidarity is what's important. And what we need to do is we need to learn from our history, because I bet you a lot of y'all out here didn't even know that No Cop Academy was a thing. If you knew what No Cop Academy was right now before this moment, make some noise. Alright, that's a few of y'all, but that ain't enough. So like I said, my name is Stephanie. Thank y'all so much for having us. We're having a screening of the documentary. I know, like, Bayou and some of the folks from, like, the Stop Cop City Black Coalition, they pulled directly from No Cop Academy and strategy-wise, right? That's how some of the stuff that came to be today, that's where it came from. It came from Black and brown youth within the city of Chicago. Hey, how y'all doing tonight? And we're out here for a purpose. My name is Shantae McLaughlin. I'm going to qualify myself real quick because we just had a gentleman saying that we should get jobs, right? I'm a self-employed human rights consultant. I ran for city council in East Point in 2021 under the guise of being someone with lived experience with mental health, under the guise of being someone that's justice impacted, under the guise of someone who's managed multi-million-dollar accounts and been the homeless person that we have sleeping out here on these streets. So when I sit here and move my arm, I remember being incarcerated and having that police officer almost break my arm while I was pregnant with triplets in my belly. So when we talk about Cop City, we need to have a little more education. Let me qualify myself again. I'm in grad school at Morehouse School of Medicine and in Master's in Administrative Justice Volunteer. What does that mean? To rewrite the healthcare policy for our jails, prisons, and institutions. So when I say that we need to educate ourselves a little more, when it comes to things such as Cop City, right? We sit here and we say things like, we need more funding for this. Guess what? The funding for Cop City comes out of our block grants. So when y'all start complaining about the potholes and the beautification, the money to fund that is coming from that. So you need to start saying, why is it that we have militarization in block grants? Why do our police officers need to have this equipment that if the city doesn't spend it, they lose this militarized equipment? So we need to start asking those kinds of questions. We need to start saying things like, hey, we need schools. Where can we take those funds from in our police budget, in our city budget, and where can we reallocate the funding so that we aren't sitting here building more jails and prisons, so that we aren't sitting here building Cop Cities, so that we aren't sitting here funding police who don't give a fuck about us. We need to start demanding that people who are in office, you know how they get in office? We vote for them. And when we vote for them, you know what it's called? A public service, which means that they are here to serve the public. They work for us. It's not just about we're not going to re-elect. It's about you work for us. We can, at any time, get you out of office. I've gone on public comment before the people's agenda.
Just how contentious things are right now along the entrance of.
This is Patrick Quinn. He's getting ready to go right now. Take a listen in.
Police officers, they are surrounding every entrance all around this building. You'll also notice that the doors are boarded up. And why is the Atlanta Police Department, and we're also seeing State Patrol on site, why are they focused so much on protecting this building? It's because on January 21st, there was another rally in downtown Atlanta where 3 Atlanta Police Department vehicles were burned and the doors of this were smashed.
Crazy.
The doors of this building were actually smashed and vandalized, and that's why we're seeing such a strong.
Without being real. Yo,
We're going to toss it back to you guys just for a second, just while we collect ourselves. But obviously things are very much still contentious right outside. I think we've calmed things down for now. But we are seeing State Patrol as well as the Atlanta Police Department.
Don't lie on those people.
We're going to toss it back to you guys, and I'll try and
you better take a
care of
goddamn
things
break.
right here.
Don't lie on those people.
Yo, man, back off.
Yeah, I back off.
Back off.
So what you gonna do?
Back off, man.
So what? Because I'm telling the truth. You got the truth? You come tell the truth?
Hey guys, so as you can see, this is a very, very, very serious scene, very contentious. What we've got right now is somebody out there who was harassing one of our reporters, Patrick Quinn. We're checking on him right now. We've still got his live feed up. We're making sure that he is okay. And I can tell you right now, he right now looks like everything is fine. I'm watching the screen. We've got producer teams right now that are communicating with him and his photographer to make sure they are okay. That is the nature of instances like this. That is what happens and what we are involved in as media, as journalists. I think Patrick did a very good job at trying to calm that situation down. You could see that that person out there, we don't know if he was a protester or not. That person was unwilling to listen to Patrick in front of a live camera, and that's what you end up with, an instance where we are still, again, I'm looking directly at his camera feed right now. Patrick Quinn and that photographer, Joe, are okay, and we're going to continue to monitor that situation. But yeah, this is what you deal with. This is real life. This is what is happening out there right now. And, you know, all we're doing, all Patrick was doing was trying to bring you guys the coverage of that situation and let you guys know exactly what's happening. And you've got people out there that just don't want it. I see some of you guys out there mentioning, you were watching that there. Yeah, it's an unfortunate situation, and there is a heavy police presence out there as well right now. So we know that push come to shove, you know, those officers who are responding, protecting that building would also be able to respond and help keep Patrick Quinn safe. And in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can get in direct contact with Patrick myself while we're sitting here talking and chat with him, and hopefully let you guys hear his voice as well, so you are aware that he is okay. And I'm looking over to the side. I'm reading these comments right now, and I just got a nod from one of my producers, guys. Patrick Quinn is fine. He is okay out there. That was a contentious situation. As you can see, it was energy and passion and emotion is riling up. It's riling up, and I'm looking back and down, and I'm communicating, and I'm texting, and I apologize for being disconnected here. We're just trying to make sure all of our employees and our personnel are okay. Safety is number one for something like this. What I will show you guys right now, this is Patrick's camera. The camera has been placed on the ground, and this is a look at the protest from the back side. And if you're just joining us, what you saw there was Patrick Quinn out there. He was doing a live report. We were listening in, describing, and we just lost Patrick's camera. I do believe they turned that camera off. There might be the case where they're probably packing up and heading out of there because of the safety concerns that come with being out there on that scene. If you were watching that, you saw Patrick. He was getting ready to go live. He was out in front of the foundation building, and a couple of, we don't know if they were protesters or not, but some people on the street started harassing him there in front of that camera. You heard one of them there right now live. They were saying, you know, don't lie on those people, don't lie on those people, likely accusing Patrick of saying something that they would believe is untrue or unbecoming of them as these protesters. They call themselves activists. Protesters is down the middle. A lot of people would call them other languages, other words, whatever you decide on. But for us, you know, we're just telling you guys what's happening. And that's exactly what Patrick was doing. He was telling you guys what was happening. We've got another camera that just came up here. We've got multiple cameras out there right now. And again, I'm talking to you guys, but we have a whole lot of other people in our newsroom right now who are actively working to ensure the safety of our personnel. As you can see, this camera has been placed on the ground. It looks like it might be moving around a little bit, but this camera's on the ground. Patrick Quinn is on the phone communicating with our assignment desk, and our other photographer is on the phone communicating with one of our producers. That's happening right now. So again, we have made contact with both of the people who were involved in what you guys just saw. I apologize if that's something you had to see, but I've been telling you over and over again, this is live. We cannot predict what happens next. I'm going to let you guys listen in for a little bit real quick. I'm going to chat with one of my producers, and I'll be back with you guys in a short little bit. Hey guys, I'm back. Alan Devlin, Atlanta News First. Once again, we're covering this protest that's right now outside the Atlanta Police Foundation building in downtown Atlanta. And as you guys continue to feel free to throw out anything, questions, comments, concerns, as we continue to bring you this live coverage. And we aren't going to stop. I'll tell you that right now. We aren't going to stop. It's our job. It's part of the deal that we sign on to when we become journalists. And that is why we are here. If you've been with us for the last 15, 20 minutes. You saw our reporter, Patrick Quinn. He was out there reporting on television. We carried it here on the OTT desk as well, at the Atlanta News First Alert desk. And one of the people out there got into his face and was harassing him. And what we were seeing was a little bit of that happen live in front of us. And it's one of those situations you can't control. You don't know what's going to happen, but it happened. And I apologize. I put up the wrong thing here really quick. Let me switch that back around, ensure that we're good to go. And there we go. Now we can look and you can see me and you can see what's happening with Patrick's camera. This is Patrick's camera. Again, everybody is okay. We've been told by Patrick, who's on the scene, that this person was not a protester. They were not involved in this protest. They were on the opposite side of the street, saw that camera, got into it with Patrick, and then left that scene. Patrick is going to be bringing us another live report, I've been told, at 9:30 in about 10 minutes. You stick around in 10 minutes. Patrick will be speaking once again on what's happening out there right now. We're going to try and get back to him. This is a very contentious, very tense, very passionate, inflamed situation. So what you see is what you get. And if something happens live, it happens, and we're all going to see it and watch it together right here at the First Alert desk. And for anybody, as you continue to drop in comments, question, whatever you want to say, make sure you keep it respectful in the comments, whether you're on YouTube. I'm looking at YouTube right now. If you're on Facebook, feel free to exert your concerns, anything you want to say, any questions you might have. Feel free to talk to me about it. Ask me a question about our coverage, about what's going on. But make sure you stay peaceful. Make sure you stay appropriate. Make sure you stay respectful is the most important word here. And yeah, Kay Miller, I see you. I hope they don't get violent. So do we. Nobody wants violence. We definitely do not want it to get violent. The police are out there, though. They are responding to the scene. They were out there before the protesters got there. The police knew exactly where they were headed. They were prepared, and that is what is happening. Roman, this is in Atlanta. This is Atlanta, Georgia. This is happening right now in downtown Atlanta, where we've got a group of protesters protesting the building of a Atlanta public safety training facility in a nearby county that's going to allow that the Atlanta police to better train and prepare for what comes with policing a metropolitan area the size of Atlanta and all the crime that comes with it. And that is what we are dealing with right now. And I was addressing a little bit of a situation we had a little bit ago where, you saw our reporter Patrick Quinn kind of get harassed there on camera. That was live, and we had to show you what was happening. I pulled away from it there, and then we connected with Patrick immediately, and were immediately able to confirm that he was safe. He is safe. He is sound. He is still out there. He is still doing his job, and he is unwavering. I can tell you that, and that's from speaking to him directly. I've been texting with him the past 10 minutes here. He is okay, and our team jumped immediately into action to make sure he was okay. And he will be back here in about 8 minutes, 7 minutes, I should say, 9:30. He'll be talking again. I'm gonna let you guys listen back into this protest so you can hear a little bit of what's going on. Feel free to put comments or anything in the boxes here. YouTube, Facebook, I'll be sure to answer whatever I can. Here, take a listen in. All right, guys, I'm going to jump back in real quick. It looks like Patrick might be getting an interview right now. I want to take that interview live and see if we can listen in really quick. Give me about 2 seconds to turn that audio up, and we'll be able to hear this interview.
From Black Atlanta, it comes from Brown Atlanta, It comes from people in town and out of town. And even through the tactics used by the city to stop us from marching, to try to convince people not to come here, to scare people, people came out anyway and have been demonstrating against Cop City. And so that's fantastic.
If anything, it feels like this movement is very much still alive.
It's not. It's alive and it's growing. We won't be deterred by police violence against our movement. Our movement is going to survive the violence by the police, and it's going to continue to grow because folks know that they don't want $90 million spent on Cop City. They want that money going into programs for the community. They want that money going into affordable housing, but they don't want that money going into building a Cop City that nobody asked them to build in the first place.
And so what you just heard there was a interview live with a protester out there at the site of this facility. And it looks like we pulled down from Patrick's shot, but I'm going to put a second one up that's still out there right now. I'm trying to juggle this as it's happening. This is all going down. Let's see which audio. I'm going to turn this audio up. You guys can listen in to what's going on right now. It looks like our photographer's moving very quickly. Heavy police presence out there as expected. A lot of protesters here. Listen in. Right now, it looks like the protesters are on the move. Our photographer was running to get into the front of these protesters. We're not sure exactly where they are marching to, but they are leaving the Atlanta Police Foundation building, and our photographers are going to stay on top of this. Patrick Quinn's still out there right now. This is a look at Patrick Quinn's camera. As you can see, he's on the move as well. This is a live situation. This is not done up for television. This is what happens in between when we show you what's going on TV. This is what it looks like because these photographers, these journalists are really out in this stuff. They are really out living this stuff. It is not fake. It is not pretend. I'm going to put you guys right back out there to this audio. You guys can listen in.
Take Marta if you can. Take Marta if you can. If you need a van, on my left. Leave it out, Joe. Signs right there. Signs right there. Thank you for coming. Get home safe, y'all.
Okay.
Make sure you know where your people are. Text them now. Got all the signs right here. Thank you, y'all. Get home safe, beautiful people.
All right, guys, so what we're looking at right now, it looks like the protesters might be preparing to leave the area. We're still trying to figure out exactly what's happening. You were listening in. It looks like some of the officials out there who are in those vests are saying, you know, hey, time to go. Put your signs up. Text your people. Make sure you know where they are. And it looks like these neon vests with the neon hats are ushering the protesters out of that area, out of that plaza, outside of the Atlanta Police Foundation building. And this is the live scene right now. And I do want to point out, I do want to remind you guys, as you guys kind of ask questions and ask what's going on, this has been peaceful. This is entirely peaceful. There was no violence here that we saw on our cameras. There was nothing that was inappropriate or unlawful. The police showed up to ensure that that wouldn't happen because the foundation building was a target last year, late last year. We brought you that coverage too. And so what you're looking at right now looks like the peaceful ending of this protest. This was just a normal protest. There's nothing unlawful with protesting and voicing your opinion. You can agree or disagree, but the way this went and the way it looks like it's going to end, peaceful. Now I want to bring up this side-by-side box here so I can talk with you guys as we kind of look at what's happening. It looks like most of it is clearing out for the most part. It does look like most of it is clearing out. I see some of you guys asking about, let's see. Yeah, so Johnny Jones, I see you asking what's going on here, man. Hey, nice to meet you. They are arguing about a police public training facility that is being built in a nearby county, DeKalb County, a little bit ways outside of Atlanta. The Atlanta Police Department wants to build one to better train their officers. This group out here does not want that to happen. They believe that it will further militarize the police. They believe it'll destroy the environment. They are upset and they are protesting. That is what is happening. Red Crown, I see you on YouTube as well. They don't want the police to have proper training. You know, and that's the counter argument to this. This is a training facility the city and the police say will aid in public safety. It will provide more protection for police, but this group believes that that will aid in a further militarization of police and in turn make them more dangerous. That's the back and forth that we're getting in this situation. And what you can see right now, it looks like, again, they're putting their signs down and they are leaving that area, which is good. You have to file a permit to have a protest like this of this size in the city of Atlanta. That's perfectly legal. It looks like they stayed within their parameters. It looks like there were officials of the city that were orchestrating that protest. And then at the end, which it might have been 9:30, I don't know, this is speculation, 9:30 hits and we all kind of saw them leave. That might be the end of the time they're allowed to have that protest out there in a public street, in a public sector like that, because when you file that permit, you have a start and an end time. This might be the end time, and this might be their response to making sure they are out of there when they're supposed to, which would be them following the law. And I'm still reading through as you guys kind of ask questions here. I'm back and forth between Facebook and YouTube, going back and forth. And Renee, I just kind of answered that question you asked 7 minutes ago about why they're objecting to the training center. That's kind of the answer right there. I just broke it down for you. That is what they believe. They believe it is destroying the environment, and they believe it will better equip the police to do wrong. That's their words. They believe that they are training police to be more aggressive and more violent. That's why these protesters were out there. The police in the city is saying that is the complete opposite of what this facility is for. This facility is being designed to better protect people. I'm going to jump into Patrick Quinn really quick. Looks like he's going live right here. I'm going to be quiet. Take a listen.
As that shot showed you, things were a little bit contentious at the time, but a lot has changed in the last 20 minutes. Take a look right now. There are no protesters. They just left within the last few minutes. We're going to walk over, and this is the headquarters for the Atlanta Police Foundation, and you're still seeing this strong police presence standing right in front of the front doors, which are boarded up. And a reminder why they are here. It was on January 21st where another rally and protesters, they all gathered right around this facility, and they actually smashed the windows of this building. So you're seeing Atlanta police officers standing here ensuring that that does not happen again, and it has not happened again. And again, within the last 10 minutes, demonstrators here, there were roughly 200 of them, maybe 300 of them. They all just walked away. This is a night that started at the King Center. We were there with the group of demonstrators rallying against the building of the planned public safety training center in DeKalb County, and then they marched all along Auburn Avenue, and they made their way right into this area right here and stood right in front of the front doors of the Atlanta Police Foundation. But for now, things are calm. We have not seen anything like what we saw on Sunday night, where we saw 23 activists arrested and charged with domestic terrorism. We also have not seen anything like what we saw at the end of January, where multiple cop cars, they were burned. In addition, the windows and the doors of this building were smashed. And here we are tonight, again, very calm. A lot of protesting against the actions of the police and what could come with this new training center, but we haven't seen any vandalisms or any attacks to officers. Sean, Rick?
And right now, Patrick is listening in to Sean Gables and Rick Folbaum. They're probably asking him a second question. You can't hear them asking, but he is going to respond. We're going to wait for that response. Still listening. This is him listening, actively listening to them asking questions. And this is going down on Peachtree TV right now.
Rick, it's a good point. Of the 23 that were arrested and charged with domestic terrorism on Sunday, they came from 15 different states. Just 2 were from the state of Georgia. And also of those 23 arrested, 2 were from overseas, 1 from Canada, 1 from France. And that point was very much a topic of discussion tonight. And the demonstrators here tonight, they accepted the fact that this movement, they say, is now international. They recognize that a lot of people are coming from other states and they are demonstrating and rallying, protesting here in Atlanta, but they say this is a national issue, so they welcome outsiders coming in and having their voice heard. They also stressed that the issues here and the building of a police facility training center here, it has implications, and they say that if they can stop that effort here, hopefully in other states, if other states were to pursue building a public safety training center or something similar, that maybe the actions here would deter that from happening in other states. At tonight's rally, there were a lot of local people came up and spoke, and they said, no, this is our city, this is my county, we do not want to see this here. But it's the point that you just made about outsiders coming in, it's been very much a topic of discussion through the development of this movement, and tonight the protesters, they accepted it, they embraced it.
And once again, Rick Folbaum, Sean Gables has him live on Peachtree TV. It's likely that they're asking him another question in this moment. We're going to wait for them to ask as they during this live. We can't hear them, but we can hear Patrick on his camera. We're only getting Patrick's feed. And there you can see him listening to the question right now. Once they're finished, he will respond. We will be able to hear his third response involving this live coverage out there outside of the Atlanta Police Foundation building in downtown Atlanta, where the protest just wrapped up. And we're continuing to wait. That question is still being asked on TV.
It's a
Here
very
it comes.
emotional issue. It's a very contentious topic on both sides. Both sides have a hard time understanding the other side. And yes, you saw some of that emotion play out right here in front of our cameras. I am fine. My photographer is fine. We were able to talk with him actually after that shot and tried to calm him down. I don't know how successful we were, to be honest, but no, we are okay, and that's part of it. I mean, we try and keep our distance, but we also want to kind of try and bring you the real energy, the real emotion that's going into this really divisive conversation. Remember, this all started back in 2021. That's when the Atlanta City Council approved this project for the building of this planned public safety training center, and here we are now in 2023, and it's still playing out in real time. Sean, Rick?
Right now, Patrick, once again, is taking a question from Sean Gables and Rick Folbaum.
Well, you've given me some homework.
Here we go.
Right after we end this shot, I'm going to figure that out. I have talked with organizers all night long as they were planning this. I knew they were coming to the Atlanta Police Foundation, and organizers earlier, they told me they were coming here, then they were going to go back to the King Center where they initially rallied together. I presume that's where they are or where they're headed, but I will, do my homework. I'll figure that out, and I'll let you know in probably about a half an hour.
Once again, another question being asked by Folbaum and Gables. Right now, Patrick waiting to respond. It looks like he is now done. All right, so what we just saw there was Patrick wrapping up that live shot, and we have, for the time being, cleared that scene out there in front of the Atlanta Police Foundation building. Patrick talked a little bit about what he's been doing out there, the coverage he's provided, that incident that he got into with one of the people that were out there who were in favor of the protesters but did not identify as a protester. Those protesters out there showing their displeasure with the building and the construction of an Atlanta public safety training facility that will be training and preparing police, fire, and EMS services here in Atlanta to be able to better respond to the community. Those protesters believe that this facility being built will militarize the police and engage them and allow them to be more violent and more aggressive. The city and the police department saying it is the complete opposite situation, and that anything else said about that is nonsense and untrue. That is where we are. That's where you have found us here. I want to thank you guys for joining me here this evening. It's been a while. We've been streaming here for the last about an hour and a half, honestly, ever since this protest first left that MLK Center and headed directly into downtown Atlanta to the foundation building, the police foundation building. I want to give a really big round of applause to my colleague Patrick Quinn out there for handling himself in the way that he did. This is an emotional, passionate scene, and he went into it head first, and you saw, just like I saw, he was providing us, both of us, all of us, coverage of what's happening out there live, and he was harassed, approached by someone out there who was in favor of the protest but did not identify as the protest. We had to cut that shot. He is okay, as you just saw. His photographer is okay, and our other photographer that is out there from Atlanta News First is okay as well. And so they're going to stay out there. The police have responded. They have cleared that scene. You heard Patrick say those protesters right now heading likely back to the MLK Center where they began earlier this evening. Patrick is working a double shift. He's been on the clock since 9 o'clock this morning. It's 10 o'clock at night, and he's dealing with this 12 hours into a day. So we gotta thank Patrick for hanging in there and being able to add to our understanding of these events. This is Atlanta. This is Atlanta, and when you've got a city as diverse, both culturally, religiously, racially, and opinions, definitely opinions, you're gonna get instances like this. So if anybody wants to ask me any questions about anything else before I let you guys go, and I'm going to be on TV here in about 20 minutes, so I'm going to start getting ready for Peachtree TV. Myself and Savannah Louie will be bringing you more coverage of this incident. We're going to have Patrick talking to us. Brett, Patrick's talking to us at 10, right? All right. Okay, so Patrick Quinn will be with us again at 10 o'clock. I won't be on here, but if you turn to Peachtree TV, DirecTV, AT&T, Comcast, whatever you got, Xfinity, we are there. You'll be able to watch. We'll be in the studio. We're going to switch out with Sean Gables and Rick Falbaum. We'll be able to talk a little bit more. I want to make sure I'm not missing any other questions or anything from anybody. The YouTube comments, I see a lot of people are commenting. It looks like Paco, all right? So we don't know where these people are from. I'm sure some of them are from Atlanta. I'm sure some of them are from out of state. The trend that we've been seeing has been usually the people that have been getting arrested either have ties to Atlanta or are from out of state. So far, I believe upwards of 40 people have either been have been arrested since protests first started last year, last fall. 23 were arrested just over the weekend after protesters throwing rocks, throwing firebombs at the actual site of that training facility. We don't have that right now. This was just a peaceful protest outside of the Atlanta Police Foundation, I should say. But I do want to do some scrolling here and see if by luck of the draw, I can show you guys. I do not have that video, unfortunately, of what happened over the weekend. I apologize. I was not prepared for that. I did not come up here with that intention. But regardless, it does look like it is over. It has ended peacefully. There was no instances. It was a protest about that police training facility, and it has ended. And I want to look and see if anybody else is speaking about asking questions, anything like that. Angela, I see you asked about domestic terrorists, and I'm actually kind of glad you brought that up because that's a point of contention right now, where you've got a lot of people who are upset that the 23 demonstrators, activists, protesters, whatever name you want to call them, were out there this weekend. They've been tacked on with terrorism charges. They were being charged as terrorists. Some city council members say that's what it should be. Some other city council members and some attorney generals and everyone else is saying maybe not. So it's a back and forth trying to figure out how to appropriately charge these 23 people that were throwing rocks, throwing firebombs at the police. Is it domestic terrorism? Is it not domestic terrorism? Because domestic terrorism charges are at the federal level, and it's a lot more serious of a consequence if you are tacked on with that charge. All right, I'm still reading more questions here. I'm looking at it. Yeah, so Trisha, you're paying attention. I appreciate that. That's exactly what I was just talking about here. Domestic terrorism is the charges for the people that were out there over the weekend. And again, some people say that's exactly what it should be. Some are disagreeing. That is not up to me. That is not up to you. That is up to the criminal justice system to decide how these people should be dealt with and charged. And whatever it is, we all can agree that it should be just and fair. I think that's something we can all agree on no matter what side that you end on this with. And I'm reading comments right now as you guys are messaging on Facebook and YouTube, so I'm trying to keep up. Crazy Cat Lady, I see you. All right, and that is her name, everybody. Her name is literally Crazy Cat Lady. She asked about how do we know they aren't domestic terrorists since they aren't from here. So as soon as they get arrested, we can pinpoint where they're from. And the thing is, when I say not from here, I don't mean not from the United States. Some of them are from out of the country. Some of the people that got arrested, as Chris Carr, as Chris Carr spoke about earlier over the weekend, he specifically said how some of them are from Europe. Some of them are from the Middle East. And so now this has become an international ordeal here in Atlanta. Majority of them, vast majority of them are from the States, the United States of America, and then many of them are from Georgia and Atlanta. So you've got a large amalgam of people from all over the area, all over the world actually participating in this. So those domestic terrorist threats, those domestic terrorist charges do have some legs. It's a matter up to the justice system to decide how much. Paco, I want to comment on what you just said. And you know what? The APD has actually been responding. Get my thoughts here correctly. The crime rates in some of the higher crime areas in Atlanta have been decreasing over the past several years. I believe there was a 7% decrease in crime in Buckhead. And Buckhead, if you're from Atlanta, you know, was really not in a good spot for a while. In fact, they were trying to secede from the city. They were trying to become their own city in order to improve their safety, and they're still trying to, but that bill just failed in the State House a couple of days ago, actually, late last week, I believe, either early this week or late last week. I apologize for not having that exact date, but that was based on crime. Crime is now down 7% in Buckhead. For the second year in a row, crime has been reduced. The pandemic spiked it up. If you're like me and you're from Atlanta, you remember when Buckhead really didn't have any crime. I was born and raised here, and I remember when Buckhead really wouldn't be touched by crime. So when it really started to pick up during and after the pandemic, when people are getting robbed at gunpoint in broad daylight at Lenox Mall, that's insane. That's insane. But it has calmed down, and we are continuing to see APD. They put a bureau directly in the middle of Buckhead in order to combat that crime, and it has been going down a whole lot. So APD doing their job. And I'm reading comments here, continued. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna bring that up as well. You know what? Because you guys are mentioning that this, and I'm glad you brought it up. I'm glad you said it. This training facility is not just for police. This training facility is for the fire department, and it is for the EMS. And I promise you, nobody wants to be caught in a situation where you cannot call the fire department when you need them or call EMS when you need them. Those are life-saving services, as are the police in many, many instances. And so this is training everybody. This is training all facets of our emergency response. And that is how this works. Paco, I hope you will also tune in to Atlanta News First a little bit more often as well. And I appreciate you being here with us on YouTube right now. I'm reading the comments as we go. And I see some people are commenting on the environment and the environmental impact of this. So that's half of it. Half of it is the police being too strong, too powerful. The other half is the concern about the environment. And for the most part, the city is saying that for every tree they tear down, they're planting more. For every time they have to dig something up or whatever it is. They're going to replace it. And they've also got environmentalists who have studied their construction plans and have said that this is okay, this is good, this will not disrupt that area. Only that one spot where the facility is, the trees and the forest and the creeks and the water around it will not be impacted. And I'm continuing to read all the comments. I'm switching between a couple of social media apps we have here. Yana, you were asking about crime rates. I mentioned it a little bit ago. I saw you put that up a minute ago. And I don't know if you heard me talking about crime rates or not. All the major cities are all fighting crime. It doesn't matter what city you name. New York, LA, Washington, Philly, Atlanta, Miami. You go over to the West Coast, San Diego. If you are a major city, Dallas, Houston, Boston, Seattle, with a massive population, you're dealing with crime. Some cities have it worse than others. APD are responsible for Atlanta. They're the ones that are protecting and serving here in Atlanta. And right now, crime rates have been going down. Mind you, on a national scale, when we compare it to the national average, I am pretty sure Atlanta as a whole has been trending downward in comparison to the national average. Excuse me, I'm gonna drink a little bit of water. And I'm gonna answer a couple of more questions here, guys, because I do have to go put my tie on and go into the studio to bring you coverage at Peachtree TV. I saw some of you guys talking about, getting ready to watch Peachtree TV. I'd love to have you. We will be talking about this specifically in about 10 minutes with Patrick Quinn once again. He'll be jumping right back up live again, and we'll be going right back at it. Right off the top, my producer says. Literally 9:59:59. We're talking about it, and we're going into it with Patrick Quinn. Excuse me while I drink some water real quick, guys. And I'm reading comments here, going through it all. You know, Crazy Cat Lady, again, that's her name. A lot of people are feeling like that. If you love Atlanta the way a lot of people love Atlanta, you don't want to see anything violent happen, but you do want to see what was always the execution of the rights that we all have, which is protesting peacefully. Andre Dickens, the police chief, made it very clear. They are all for protesting. They are never going to deny someone's right to protest, but what they don't want is violence. We didn't get that tonight, thankfully, which is phenomenal, because that has not been the case in other instances of protest here in Atlanta, specifically against this training facility. And I wish I had some video to show you guys. I do not have it uploaded to the system. If I did, I'd put it up, but you've seen it. You can go to our website right now, atlantanewsfirst.com. We've got a whole lot of video of some of the last instances where this has turned violent. Rocks have been thrown, protesters have been shot and killed, officers have been shot, cop cars have been put on fire. It's been a mess. This was not that. All right. I'm gonna end it there. I appreciate the conversation here tonight. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Again, my name is Alan Devlin. Feel free to follow me on Facebook. Alan Devlin, you can just search Alan Devlin News, Alan Devlin TV. Feel free to give me a follow. I do these every now and again. Every other day I'm on here talking to you guys about what's going on in our city. Usually it's just the top stories, but in an instance like this where we've got some pretty big breaking news, I'm going to jump on, I'm going to chat with you in the evenings and give you guys that coverage in between our shows. I'm going to go put my tie on, put my microphone on, jump into the studio, and we're going to pick it right back up at 10 o'clock. I encourage you guys to join me on Peachtree TV. We've got a whole hour of news ahead of us. Many other things are happening just besides this. It's not the only story of the night. There's a lot going on, so feel free to join us in about 8 minutes on Peachtree TV. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your evening.